What's up, guys? You got Dustin and Price here with DFS Dads, and we're going to be bringing you our week in review where we show transparency, go over our picks, how they did for the week, and give you, the viewer, access in behind the scenes. Before we get to those, though, please check us out, dfsdads.com, Twitter and Facebook, the DFS Dads, and here on YouTube, hit that subscribe and like button. All right, Price, we've been on fire with Showdown. We went all three this week. It absolutely crushed it. Then we had the Sunday slate where we hit our cash core big time. And then the GPPs and MMEs were really well too. So I'm going to turn it over to you so you can lead our viewers into your screen and kind of see how we did it and talk about it.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right, so this is going to be a quick overview of our website. So you'll see once you join us after you're watching this video how much money we made. You'll go to NFL and DraftKings plays. You'll get to see our cash core, our single entry, and early only. So our cash core smashed. Komet was the only one who did mediocre, and he was only 3K, so it didn't matter. But Mahomes got us almost 30. Kamara got 18. Pollard got 30. Ayuk 23. Ridley 30. Bowden got, 11?
Yeah.
And Swift got 20. So easy money. The ironic thing is we spent like 3.5 hours Saturday night staying up till midnight, finally figuring out the core we wanted. And then at like 11, an hour before kickoff, I'm getting ready to grill. I have family coming over, and I see breaking news: Zeke's out. And Dustin and I text each other like simultaneously, Pollard ? So we realized we need to move to Pollard.
Yeah,
and then we saw. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the funny thing is we, the initial was, hey, take him out for David Johnson, which we did because we had David Johnson in our core earlier. And at one point, David Johnson looked like he was going to outscore Pollard till he broke off that run. But it was just funny because as soon as we saw that breaking news, it was bam. And then Price also, we talked about the Miami injuries, right? All the receivers were out, and so we instantly both went to Bowden Jr. 3 weeks in a row. He's went over 3x in return now. And so, he didn't have a great game, but when somebody's 3,600 and they're going to be the number one receiver, even if it is against a New England, has pretty good defense, he obviously was able to pay off, had, 5 catches for 30-something yards and then had a couple rushes. So it worked out.
So really good week. I mean, Ayuk did great. And then Dustin and I, we really wanted to cram. We wanted Ridley in. Like so bad, we were trying to figure out a way to put him in on the lineups, and using Pollard and dropping down to Bowden allowed us to move up from Allen Robinson to Ridley, which ended up being great for us. And then we ended up just absolutely punting defense. We were looking at the Jets, but we were 100 off, so we had to go down to the Jags. And so the only thing we were hoping was they didn't get like -5 points. I believe they ended up -1, but it didn't even matter.
Yeah,
because our core scored so many points that we doubled up on everything. Now
our single entry, and man, did we miss here for the single entry and the single entry core and the early only are the exact same lineup. Just kind of worked out like that, but. This is one we spent a lot of time on, and our 2 quarterbacks previous to Trubisky were Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, right? And so this kind of is the flip of changes helping you versus changes hurting you, because we ended up getting off them to go with Derrick Henry when we put Bowden in. And so, it actually hurt us in this case, but our MME picks made up for it, which Price will get into in a minute. But do you have anything else to say about this?
I will say a little unlucky
Yeah.
Trubisky, I tackled at the one like three
Twice.
separate times.
Yeah.
And then Henry should have had 3 touchdowns today.
Yep. Tannehill had two rushes, 2 rushing touchdowns inside the 5, which is and then at the end of the game they put in the backup. They were trying to rest Henry a little bit, and
the
he ended
backup
up scoring the last touchdown. Yeah.
But so what the ironic thing was we had discussed changing the single entry cord to what I ended up running with, but we ran out of time before lock. So I'm gonna go right into this. So you'll see here, you'll see a few of mine. So this one right here, the big daddy that won $1,484 was what I discussed switching to.
Yeah.
And then while I was building this lineup, I told Dustin, I'm just gonna fade Kamara in this. I don't feel like he's gonna pay off.
And I talked him out of it.
And then literally I deleted him and I said, well, that's just stupid. He has the best, matchup on the slate. Breeze is back, check down machine. And he just shits the bed.
Well, I mean, he didn't kill you. I mean, 18, what was he, 74? So, 2.5 value is not going to kill you. You definitely want 2 to 3. Otherwise, it's really going to hurt.
But what sucks is the 2 plays you loved are David Johnson and Marvin Jones. And if I dropped from Kamara to David Johnson, I could have moved up from Dowd into Marvin Jones, and there would have been a couple extra digits on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, Marvin had a game. David Johnson obviously had a ton. David Johnson finally did what we thought he was going to do all those weeks back, where he had 10 catches, 100 yards. I mean, that kind of thing. And it finally came to fruition. We just had moved off of him to Pollard, which ended up being a better move for us. So
you'll see I had a couple other decent like this one here that had Murray, Taylor, McKissick, Hopkins, Evans, Bowden, Swift. So I only had 3 quarterbacks I ran. I ran Brady, Mitch, and Murray. And my Murray ones are the only ones that cash because Mitch just didn't have a good game. But then, you'll see here at the top, the showdown from the Packers game that hit, the 2 team that hit, and then Dustin ended up getting first place in a GPP.
Yeah,
the early one.
I'm the cheap dad, as they say, and I play more cash. But I've been throwing $1 into these single entry showdowns just for fun. And I ended up hitting first and winning $370 off of $1. And if I hadn't been the cheap dad, if I'd been the price dad, I'd have probably made 10 to 15,000. So, but that's the way it goes. I was never going to play the big GPPs because like I said, I'm more of a cash guy. That's my bread and butter. I try to stick to that. Obviously I play some GPPs on the main slate, but for the most part, I just like the cash. It's easier to win money that way.
That was very unfortunate for me. I was traveling back from vacation that day. And so while we were discussing the lineups, I thought I hit save and I didn't. And so I had 18 minutes to get across the Charlotte International Airport. And I realized if I pulled my phone out to do anything and my wife saw me, she would just left me. And I can't keep up with her as it is. So I would have missed my connecting flight. So it was cool. I'm happy Dustin won, but we're pretty similar.
Yeah, we always talk through our plays, right? Because Price, we're actually very opposite on our plays. He's a GPP minded, and I'm very cash oriented. So it's kind of fun because we come together and we actually help each other out, right? Because if Price says that's not a good play in a cash lineup, then I for sure don't want to play it. And so,
for example, Cam Akers today.
Cam Akers, yeah. I was like, man, Cam went off last game. The Jets suck. They should be up on them most of the game. Cam Akers should get fed. And Price said, I don't like it for cash. And I said, if you're saying that, then we're not doing it. And obviously it worked out well for us because he sucked.
Overall, great week for us. Dustin made a good chunk of money. Our cash lineup murdered it.
Yeah, 170.
Actually, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, share your screen. Go back to your double ups there.
Yeah, for some reason it's not even on here. But I played $185 in it.
Go to live and see what it says.
Nope.
Down there. Do you have a filter? There
it is.
Yeah.
Bottom left.
Yep. So yeah, as you can
see, even with the negative, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and so for our subscribers, technically we're not allowed to give out full lineups. In some weeks, it definitely worked out this week because there's only one defense to play at that price point. Sometimes there's a little variance, but we try to make it pretty clear without giving our full extent of the lineup. So we leave the defense up to the user. But in this case, if you used our core, this is the only play you had, and you scored 170. That cashed in both double ups and GPP. So
yeah, because if you look, I'll show you. So like this lineup. So our cash scored 170.
Yeah, 170.
So even there, it's still doubled in that.
Yep.
So I mean, and look at the ownership percentage. Like Kamara 60, almost 2/3 of the field owned him.
Yeah.
And so what really separated us was calling DeAndre Swift. I think so. Using him in cash was a little risky for us, but he's coming off, a couple good weeks whenever he actually played, and he's better. They need to play him.
And we talked through that a little bit, right? Because kind of the unknown, and I'm very anti-unknown in the cash lineup, but the one common theme with Swift all year long is he's been the pass catching back, right? Adrian Peterson has spatulas for hands, and Kerryon Johnson's basically when Swift's there doesn't get any work. So at the end of the day, you knew that he was going to get the pass catching downs, and he was going to get the majority of the rushes. So I don't really see it as a risky play per se. Just more of a, you have to feel good about what you're picking and why you're picking going in. And for me, it made sense based on the percentage last week. He only got, I think, 11 carries, I think is what it was. But if you looked at the game overall, there was only 15 carries by the running backs in the whole game. So the share was there. It was just a little bit different of a game script. So,
and he should have had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he fumbled inside
one,
2, I think.
Yeah, he tried to reach it over and got the ball knocked out. So, that it happens. But all of our guys besides our tight end, I think 3x, him and Kamara were the only ones in our defense. Obviously, when you go negative, you're not going to return value. But we've been, that's been our motto pretty much all year, is punt on defense and tight end and get the guys you really want. And a lot of times our defense has paid off. We really wanted the Jets. You can ask our Slack. It's in our deep dive, but our lineup construction didn't allow it because the Jets end up getting,
Let me see.
But either way,
I got
8 points.
They went 4x.
4x, right, at 2,100. So, had we been able to fit them in with who we wanted, then obviously they more than paid off, and we've been doing that all year. So that's just kind of our philosophy, and it's worked out way more than it hasn't. And even today's a kind of a good showing of it doesn't matter as long as the guys you get in do what they need to do.
And I would share my FanDuel, but I got locked out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I never remember my passwords, and so I just tried to log in real quick, and it locked me out.
Price is terrible at remembering his passwords. We usually have to do that for him, but it is posted on our Twitter and Facebook. So if you go to the DFS Dads, he sent screenshots.
Actually, I can show it.
Oh, there you go.
So I'll go ahead and share my screen again. So this is what I ran and everything. So we made the single entry, but I love this cash course so much that it ended up being my main lineup on FanDuel because we love Mahomes.
Yep.
Pollard was snapped. Henry, lock button. He got royally screwed, and then really popped off. So it was another one where I doubled my money. I put like 112 in and cashed 260.
Bang, bang.
So another big week there. It's just really solid week up and down. And that was a little bit hectic for Dustin and I since Chris had to deal with some stuff, so he was gone for the week. But I mean,
yeah. All in all, I mean, I think we cashed every showdown. Our cores were really great. For those that don't know, we give out 4 picks for a core, so you pick the other 2, and so we cashed all 3 of those. Our Sunday cash hit. Obviously, Price hit big in his GPP. So yeah, I mean, just a great week overall. We're going to keep that rolling into next week, and you have some playoff implications there, which kind of determine some matchups and that kind of thing on the back end. That's something you got to start looking at as an analytical type when you're looking at players and who to play, because it's going to be a factor the next 2 weeks.
We appreciate you guys watching. We'll have more content out tomorrow night for the great Bengals and Steelers game that's going down.
And NBA.
We're going to have our boy Left Hand Layup on. We're going to do a video with him to preview the NBA tip-off on Tuesday night.
Yep.
So it's going to be another big week for us. He was on fire all preseason. I know he had one night where he usually lists 20 people for his player pool, and he said 16 of them were the top 20 scoring. Just crazy.
Yep. Come check us out, dfsdads.com, and come have fun and make some money with us. See you next week.